Well, my introduction is very short because I'm not well known within this community. Well, I mean, like other speakers that have given presentations before. Well, some of you may know me because I visit as many cons, attend as many cons as possible. I am also an active participant. I participate actively on the distribution list. Often people start the presentation with an overview of the presentation and telling you what the talk is about. But I will start the other way around. I will tell you what not my talk is about. Well, it's handware hacking. Well, a wise person told me once that there are two type of talks that you can give. One is a technical one, and the other one is a talk about telling stories. So today I will not be talking about extreme hacking. I will not be showing any 0 days that I found on any technologies. I'm not going to show proof anything which is highly technical. And that's the point of it, because, well, you know it all already. And I'm not going to tell you about new exploitation techniques. My talk is not about big data either, or cloud, or cyber, anything. Well, perhaps I will be losing some points, who knows, by doing so. But anyway, yesterday, this came to my mind yesterday as I was having lunch. So by the time you will publish videos, or by the time you play your playlist, and every time you hear the video, the word cyber, you just have a drink, and then you will be very soon drunk, okay? When you play back the videos of this talk. Conference. Okay, what is my talk about? Well, to put it in a nutshell, accessing kiosks, vending machines that sells tickets, ATMs as well. Well, few of them, okay, we are highly interested in ATMs, okay, even if they are not very easy. Also, obtaining access to any computer, any equipment that you come across within the street. Information kiosk, or at the end of the day, a computer embedded in any kind of box. So that's always our objective, or the objective. And rather than how I did it, so the hardcore techniques, very complex techniques that I will be using are quite ridicule, are quite ridicule. So I'm not going to focus on the how, but on the meaning of them. What called my attention of these devices is not that they are everywhere, but that at the end of the day there is an equipment behind it. It is there out there for me, waiting for me, whether it is touch screen, keyboard, or whatever. It is having a computer just in the middle of the street. Then challenge. Well, sometimes when you click on the print link, that's it. However, others were more elaborated and they required some more craft, so to speak. And also very important, as I told you before, where are these devices located? Sometimes they are part of a network and they are connected to other equipment. And that was another reason that took me to do so. For 11 months, I lived in a company that had a very poor connection with airports, and I spent hours and hours on that airport waiting, like this man on the video, and I spent hours and hours on airports. And then, for that, I set myself a few rules. Well, at the end of the day, it's good to limit things, or narrow down things a bit. I was also appealed by the fact of using my hands. Well, it's not a question if I have an Explorer, open up iCat. Are you aware of iCat? It's a tool that it was aimed to do what I'm going to show you. That is to say, to use it on kiosk with internet access. It triggers a number of URIs, also Firefox extensions. Well, it is a really cool tool. And well, the thing is that you cannot access there from all these type of devices, and at the end it was not as interesting. It lost interest. Okay, another of my rules were to leave everything as I found it. It is not good for me to crash a kiosk with a 40-inch screen that I find at an airport, and then and then just to crash the desktop and the screen, and that's not the point. And last rule was aimed, of course, on achieving what I wanted to achieve. That was to open or time a CMD, or at least to bypass the functions of the device. For instance, if it is a kiosk at the airport that charge you to log on the internet, they may have some capping on them, for you to access some ports, etc. How to do all that? These are the approaches that I followed in terms of inputs. Well, at the end of my presentation, I'll ask you for some help because I'm also interested in doing or testing other things. Well, but most of the cases, inputs are a keyboard or a mouse or a metallic ball that performs as a mouse, touch screen, and then techniques. I just name them myself. Well, for instance, race condition. Race conditions, for those of you who are not aware of it, this is not a highly technical stuff. Race condition is taking advantage of a timing between an action and the reaction of the device. So, for instance, equipment where safe screen is triggered. When the safe screen triggers, you go and say, this is different, and then you are appealed by that. The other one is crash. I have an application, full screen, which is often the case. At the end of the day, you cannot escape the screen. And then within the application, you find a way to crash the application, to shut itself down, and that's it. Then this other technique, I like the name, touchy. I think this is the first kiosk that I broke because I broke it. So it is on the little corners of the screen. You do like this, you walk around because screens are poorly calibrated. Sometimes you think that you're getting the full screen, but you aren't. And then you do like this, and the rest of the window you eliminate the application, and that's it. You have the full screen. And as I said, there are many mistakes out there. Okay, so you look around and you always find some mistakes or errors or flaws. Right, now URIs, they look like this. They are referred to as external applications, same as the, FTP is one of the most common ones. The other one allows you to navigate files, torrents. I'm sure that you are aware of it. Then you get a link, and then it adds the torrents to your torrent manager. And then the mail too is the typical URL that we all click on by mistake, and then it opens itself. Then your computer starts to slow down. So these are like really nuisance. And now something else that was much more exploitable than it looked like. And that was the wait for it, sit down before the computer and wait. Wait for it to restart, wait for someone to connect through UNC, and then you do like click, and then you are already into that device, or you just wait for someone to connect itself through TeamViewer and leaving all the credentials right in the middle of the screen. That didn't happen to me, but well, one way or another, wait for someone to give something to you. It's not a question of spending hours and hours before a kiosk, but sometimes you are just walking around and then you come across these places. Okay, and then, yes, well, this was about, well, the rest condition. Right, the knack of this paper is, so this presentation is to tell you or to share with you what I find around. This man, oh, this is one of these karting places, when you go and drive a kart. And I was there and I started to touch on the screen while I was waiting to get there. And then I found myself this, and I said, I'm going to take a photo of these. And then, well, I just stopped touching the screen. But as I told you before, this is not about the how, but the meaning. This is not a critical device, did not have any entries or anything. It was interesting, had the webcam, it was appealing, well, that was it. This is an ATM in Turkey, in Istanbul more specifically. This is a fast photo that I take. I cannot remember much more. Something was going wrong. I said Windows XP with a numerical keyboard. And then around the start button there are 1,000 fingerprints. So this is also interesting. In this case, I think the touch screen didn't work. I found many ATMs that give you an error message, then the application shuts down, and you have it there. Touch screen, full operation. So is there anyone responsible in here for this type of things? Please, if that happens, if anything happens beyond the legitimate application, please disable this screen, because you walk around and you find something like that. This is what, and so, as I said you, well, I will tell you later on, these devices have access to many places. Well, I spent, as I said, lots of time at airports. This terminal, I found it in Croatia airport to validate your check-in. This one had a mouse, keyboard. Well, the screen on top, you cannot see it, but it had Windows with an error on it. And what happened on the screen below is that, well, we could see an interface that looked like nicely programmed, nothing wrong apparently, but it let you visit the different websites for different airline companies. So I started to search, to play around. Some of them only had like one bubble with information, but one of these boxes gave you access to the full website, and then I found a URI that would allow me to take some external application. Well, once you have a Windows dialog, you come out there fully. Well, you have nothing to do, but well, this is the command that I did. I took a photograph and then I closed it. That's another airport in France. I hate these devices, charging people €2 to log on the internet for 30 minutes. I hate that. And then I started to play around, and I could see that the interface was quite sound. Well, there is an experienced company behind it, but this is not like a pure shitty application, not at all. And I could see that the only thing that this application let you open legitimately was a game, a really awful game. And then I wanted to open the game, and then it opened a Chrome, nearly full screen one. I said, okay, I will do the most brutal thing, file ... Then I downloaded CMD to Chrome, I opened it and then I got a line of commands and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And the good thing about that was like, well, now I have a line of commands and we have exploit for Windows, privilege of escalation of privilege. Well, I don't know French, but look what it says. Intrater. Well, you have it all now. Administrateur. Oh, that is in French. Administrator. Well, for some reason, the administrator, just logs on every so often to change things, etc. Okay, so that is what happened with that actual device. Again, in France, I was doing a stopover, and then I found his equipment in a box pay system, online game. This one I found it before earlier than the other one. Again, Chrome. At the time I didn't have an internet connection because Wi-Fi was a pay one. And I said, I only want to watch to see gadgets. Just let me access for 10 minutes for free. And I said, okay, let us see how it works because I have lots of time to kill. So I will try to read the news and then I will just stop it. And then I was navigating through C and then I found C, squid. And I said, what is a squid running in local? 6 equipment. Each of these equipment is running its own squid. Then I went through the rules. I opened a command terminal because I am a power user of Windows. Well, Explorer Notepad could be okay, but I went to this. I edited it from here. I did the URL of the gadget, and then I just read the news easily, and that was it. That's the only thing that I expected from that equipment, to read the paper. The thing is that there were many devices of these kinds across these airports and also in other airports that I visited. With the terminal of the line of commands, you can restart the equipment or whatever, but some of them, look, they have a USB port. If you can just inject the distro live if you want to. Me? Well, everyone knows that in my wallet I have a minute USB with some tools just in case I need them. And then I said, no, I cannot really believe that this will work because the BIOS was completely clean for you to boost whatever you wanted to boost it. Well, let me see if I can show you. Can you see it to the right? Very small. That's my USB. Boosting a backtrack light. I didn't do more than that because I didn't want to get into trouble, but I had a backtrack there. I could do whatever I wanted. This one is even better fun. This was a touch screen. Bored person like myself at the airport, surrounded by Chinese people all rushing around, and me looking at the screen, touching on, changing the language. And I said, oh, I think I changed the language. And then when I changed the language, there was some lagging. Well, imagine someone like myself, with my appearance, a tall guy, before the screen doing like this. What happened? Because I could see that if you change the language really fast and ask the application to change tabs, there was some lagging. And I said, this is on Windows. It's going to crash, surely. I said, change language, change language. And then you see someone in the middle of an airport, before a touch screen doing like this. And actually, when I turned back, when I found that, crashing applications. And then because I was very close to the touch screen, then I got these blue lights. I said, oh gosh. And then I turned back and I had like 2 Chinese people behind me smiling. And then, well, yes, I could see that I was making myself too noticeable. And then, well, I just moved somewhere else. This is a company that does software for this type of touch screen, and they have a demon that lifted the application again. When I took that photograph, the application was lifting itself again, and then I had to do exactly the same thing, some gymnastics, open the task administration to kill the devil before it lifted the application again. And then I had a command terminal to take my time, touch on the screen, and again, look at the size of this screen. You can open a shell, inject a bug, whatever, and then escalation of privileges. Again, administrator. A different one, again, calling me administrator. Well, this one, it's doesn't have a lot to say about. Someone passed that on to me. I mentioned that to someone, and then they said, "Okay, well, this is a dialogue that you get in the beginning when you visit. Yeah, when you see and when you find an ATM restarting itself. I don't know whether they found this dialogue, but well, that's it. That's about it. I just wanted to show it. This one is critical, eh? But there is not much more that I can show you about it. Well, this is shown with stars, asterisks, because I tricked it. I treated it last year as a rooted. This is an example of what you can do with iCAD. This was more laptop with a captive application. You go to iCAD. Then you install a Firefox extension. It launches or opens the terminal system for you. But this is if it is a Linux not updated version. If I don't have a escalation of privileges, well, look what has happened. So, but this is for you to see what you can do with iCAD. Terminal which is closed. And I am sure, well, this is one of the first ones that I found and that I like. You can see a TPV, well, for you to insert your card, your PIN number. This is a race condition because the people who did the application, well, this is my theory, but for them to avoid the voice thing, that is to say that when you have a permanent image on a screen, it gets burned. And then to prevent the ghosting, and I say, okay, we will implement our own safe screen. Why not? And then, well, you had the black screen with the logo type, and I touched it to remove the safe screen, and then I could see a flash. And I say, is that an start bar? And then I was there, for 10 minutes waiting and not letting anyone come close to it and touch it because I was waiting for it to trigger. I was just, and then it happened. Prize. Well, this is not an ATM, but it has a TPV. It has the software for the ticket selling. It has internet access. And that internet access is nearly free. And I left this one for the end. It's one that I liked a lot. And I was walking up Castellana Street last year and I passed by a bank. I'm not going to tell you the name of the bank. Now it's blinded. You cannot really see it. And I could see that the ATM was restarting itself. And then I just stayed before the ATM to see what would happen next. And then I could see also flash. And then I touched the touch on the screen like really fast. I really heated it. You cannot really see it, but I just opened a Windows menu, a touch screen on an ATM. Well, this is more delicate. Well, of course, to be taken into account. Well, I didn't leave all these devices. I left all devices as I found them, and I am serious. I didn't. Well, it's not that I don't want to break something just because of it. Okay, so this, as I said, the last one is the most appealing, or the one that I like the most anyway. So the idea is to take a look at 4 or 5 devices, to find the 4 or 5 different flows and just attack them through there. Well, at airport networks, you find all type of devices, equipment, doing all type of things. SCADA devices, SCADA systems. These are all questions. I haven't got the answer. Well, I'm sure you can find there are very many things there. But if you leave, I don't know, a device that is sharing a network with other devices, well, that's what you find. In terms of ticketing systems, information kiosks, I remember when I showed the ticketing system terminal or device to a friend said, okay, if you inject a bug and then you get free tickets and you sell them, you can get a lot out of it. And as I say, well, I don't break them, I leave them as they are. And then ATMs, these are the most interesting ones, but by large, because these are critical systems, not only because of the ATM, because of the network they are connected to, but I'm sure that some of you say, no, the networks of all the ATMs are isolated. Yes, of course. Summarizing, everything I showed you was easy. Didn't take lots of time to do it on any of those devices. It is not that, well, I devoted lots of time to it but in most of the cases I didn't need any tools. I'm sure that there are some IVs that detail the plugins for iCAD, etc. Some of the devices were critical. Some of these environments were just interesting. But when I see a TPV associated to a device, I'm not very happy about that. The environments, well, even if the environments are really interesting, even if the devices are not. So you may not have a shell in the information kiosk, but well, that you may want to scan the network, and that would be more interesting. And then most of them have quite free internet access. Well, at the end of the day, out of convenience, administration, or whatever, the devices out there are, well, basically quite, if not a lot, exposed. Well, and I said, okay, I'm going to test everything that I can. That's what I did. And then my friend said, oh, he's seeing another screen. And then I said, oh, wait for me for a second. And then, I start to touch on and to do things. Then second thing to do, stay legal. If you really feel like doing something like that, to me it's a good idea, for you to have a feel, to see what it is like. But at the end of the day, well, I've been system administrator myself. So if you are a system administrator, you don't like to find that, okay? So don't be careful, at least. And then, in terms of getting hardcore on ATMs, the capture that I get on the touch screen and the command line, I was kind of shaking. And I say, okay, I shut everything down and I leave it as it is. People could get really angry at you if you do it like that. Then, now I need to get authorization. I know that there are some people here working in the banking sector. I wish, or I would like, if someone is interested, I have ideas about entry vectors fully external for an ATM. I have some things in mind that I would like to test. I would like to test out new things, but with an authorization. I'm not going to take a chair and spend hours before an ATM waiting for, to break it. And then if I achieve that, I will come back to a RootedCon and I will share that with you. So I remember when I saw Vince in the first Rooted, he gave his presentation and said how to come back to the Rooted for free. Well, same here. If I get information for me, for my mind, for my brain, and then, well, you bring me to the Rooted Come next year for free, I would be very happy. So thank you to all my team. I work with all those people on the screen. They teach me a lot. They put up with me a lot. I owe them a lot. And thank you to you all for listening to me. I know it's lunchtime and that you must be really hungry Thank you for coming, and yeah, thank you, Roman.
Bueno, eh,
Unfortunately, RootedCon people do not give talks at RootedCon people. But no, Borja, now you are involved in a RootedCon project, so you have a problem. Well, we'll try to find a fix for that, or to fix it. Well, I had also issues with Raúl Siles because he said, okay, you have to let Jose give a talk. Okay, we'll see what to do with that. Well, also very important, U2 Hack is a very important event that is that takes place in Paris. It is registration is open 28th and 29th of June. Well, they also have ideas. They are thinking about doing things with ATM. So I encourage you to visit these people and then to see how you can make it to Paris because it's a wonderful event. Oman has a good relationship with them. Okay, so I encourage you to talk to them. So new to hack and KO teams are here. They are fighting, eh? So the Coitum had deployed some honeypots and the other ones are dosing them. So you don't know, but this is what they are doing. Honeypig, they are mounting the honeypig and it's not working. So do you have any questions? Okay, and if not... No questions. It's lunchtime. Oh yes, there is one question. Very interesting, congratulations. Question. You said that you accessed ATM. You told us that you could gain access through the touch screen. Did you? How far did you get? Did you get any further? No, I told you. I didn't try anything. I just wanted to see. For instance, if an evil was there sharing that application, it often happens. It's a bit of a pain, but sometimes when you open an external window, 1 second later, a devil shuts it down for you. So I just wanted to see whether I could open the window, and that's it. So ATMs, I didn't try to do more things. In other devices, as I told you, yes, I tried to do other things. Some of them have a VNC for administration. So, and they have outputs and outlets in some areas, and others are free navigation. For instance, if I go to Explorer, I could reach, I don't know, Google or the website of RootedCon, and then as soon as I made it there, I closed it down. I didn't want to overdo it. So when you said that it had free internet action, is that what you mean? Did you get that on ATM? Did you see that on ATMs? The one you said that an ATM had free internet access. I said most of these devices have free internet access. No, I didn't test that. I didn't try that out in ATMs, but I wouldn't be surprised that because of administration issues. Yes, well, the ATM should be isolated, fully isolated. Well, the only thing that you should have behind is just the banking points, but at the end of the day, I'm sure that someone has forgotten something over there. Hello for your presentation, inspirational one indeed. Well, my question was similar to the previous one. Haven't you ever felt the impulse to send out a copy of the software and to do some research at home? No, I didn't do that. But when I saw that some devices had internet access, I started to get really excited. Well, what I did, the code snippet that I did was not a malware. I did a Python request that it only did request to the outside. So I did a tool that allowed me, well, when you lifted it, it was a standalone executable. When you lifted it, it connected to the web server that you told it only with get request, took the commanded, and then I need another request to the outside. I did it to try it sometime in another device. The thing is that I never did it. Again, I'm not going to do something which is wrong without authorization. If I'm here, I just asked for that opportunity, for that authorization. If someone allows me to try these things, to test them, I'll do them. Not so far. Two simple questions. Do you report to companies? No. I haven't reported to anyone. As I said, I didn't find it meaningful or substantial enough to do it. I wouldn't mind to do it anyway. As I say, I want to test, to try out more. I am likely because I do pen testing myself, and I'm appealed by that. And especially the ATM environments. I have my head full of ideas for ATMs. I sometimes I feel like, I don't know. I thought about bringing a chair with me, just sitting down before the ATM, and then doing many things. Many ideas has crossed my mind, but I haven't done any. I haven't carried out any of them. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to be here. I have many things in my head. If someone gives me the authorization to try them out, perfect. So buy an ATM yourself. You know what? Well, in the crowdfunding project, okay, first he will do that crowdfunding project for him to buy an airplane, and then, with the remaining money that is left over, I will buy an ATM. Well, we will try to talk to financial entities, and then, we can put you in contact with them so that they give you a protection so that, yeah, you are protected. Okay, here. Many people moving around me, but I am the one who is sitting. Yes, but the audience says that it is interesting. And do when you come close to these devices, are you wearing a cap so that they don't capture you on the bank's cameras? Look, this is one of the things that I didn't want to do. If I ever decide to do something in an evil manner, I will do it. But I will not hide. Someone could really tell me off or be angry at me from what I did. If someone tells me off, okay, I will just admit it. But so far, and as I say, I'm not a mastermind. I work with wonderful pen testers. But what it is very important are the ideas. If I manage to do that, I am sure that if a serious person, a brilliant mind, decides to do it, is determined to do it, they say, I have 27 firewalls, 27 protections. If someone like that, passes by, downloads the malware, and that's it. Where I live, there is a banking, and it has a router with IP. On the sticker, it shows on the sticker, and then the blind is up, okay? Yes, as like a character from a terror film said, I've seen things.